The library is open and I can't wait to spy on some book lives. My fellow nosies, let's see how messy this one gets. This is Where Home Lies and it's by Kennedy B. I'm going to say there's trigger warnings. Firstly, we have parental abandonment. It's off screen and the character only mentions this, it's mentioned one time. And there's a parental death. This is also off screen and it happened when a character was really, really young, and you hear about it quite a lot through the book, but only as a mention and not as anything traumatic. This one is surrounding Bia, who is an artist. She leaves to travel for 6 months to make a name for herself. She leaves behind her boyfriend that she's known since she was 5 years old. She gets home early, only to find this trifling-ass man has moved in his very heavily pregnant girlfriend into her house. So we're just going to be starting off with sheer audacity. Why this man couldn't move out and move his side piece into their own place, I have no idea. To be fair to the girl, I shouldn't even really call her a side piece because I'm doubting from the circumstances that she had any idea about this, which makes her victim number 2 of this trifling ass man. We're also introduced to Dimitri, who is in the streets but on his way out after making the money he feels he needs in order to have a legitimate life. He wants to open up a club. He's in the process of opening it up. He lives with his girlfriend Ivy, who he doesn't seem to like much and resents her presence. Seriously, just leave her alone. You don't have to be with a woman you don't like and then punish her for it. Anyway, let's move on to the things I didn't like. So I felt like Bia jumps a little too quick from such a long-term relationship to dating somebody else. This definitely needed some time to heal. It wasn't just a regular relationship, and on top of that, it ended horribly. Dimitri is real ancient in the beginning. He can say friends all he likes, but he knew from the start exactly what he was doing. I also felt like he disrespected Bia by ignoring her boundaries and by dating her without being honest. I really don't like Dimitri for Bia. He has 0 character development, and this is a spoiler. He uses Ivy cheating as an excuse to leave, but never accepts the part he played in any of it. He doesn't become a better person, and he doesn't learn from any mistakes. He keeps himself firmly in the victim bracket, and while in some ways he is, because he has been betrayed and disrespected, he has also been disrespectful and betrayed the situation he was in. That's really unfortunate. I really don't like that Dimitri calls her a lil shit as some kind of pet name, as if it's cute. And also at the beginning of the book, Bia gets this mini mansion and it's meant to represent her fresh start and her life changing for the better with her selling her collection, and she also gets another contract, she gets fame. Basically showing how her life has elevated, but then she just calls Dimitri's condo her home and it just feels wrong. Okay, so enough of that. Let's go on to what I liked. These 2 characters have chemistry. They do have a lot of chemistry. I also love Bia's relationship with her cousin and also with Jade, and I kind of wish I'd seen a bit more of it. It might have given the story a bit more dimensions if she was doing a bit more outside of just the relationship. I don't know, maybe it would have helped. I also love how Bia's dad shows up for her all the time, especially since she hasn't had her mom in her life. Her dad doesn't replace her, but he makes sure he's there as much as he can be for his daughter, and that's nice. Shout out to all the strong fathers. All the family members that we meet of Bia's are interesting, even though they don't get too much page time. It still helps to make this feel like a proper story with all their personalities, even though Kennedy B could have kept Myers out of it. Dimitri's family seemed cool, but I wish I got to see more of them. But for a book of this length, I clearly wanted to see too much of everything, but I still see it as a good thing that I wanted to see more of them in the first place. With my final thoughts, this will actually include some spoilers, so if you're not interested in seeing them, you can end the video here, and thanks for watching this far. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to jump right into it. I've read at least one other book from Kennedy B that I liked, so this won't turn me away from reading books from her in the future. I just found it hard to like this one because although they have chemistry and they clearly love each other, everything felt a little too rushed. Every romance doesn't have to end with a pregnancy. Just let the romance breathe a little. Just let it breathe. Not to mention Dimitri's repeated stepping over her boundaries, plus his friends and sister co-signing this behavior to someone that is fresh out of a long-term relationship, which was actually likely her only relationship, made it feel so manipulative. She didn't hear any advice from like her own family, which contributed to me feeling like this was not a relationship I could get behind. Don't even let me get into him buying her a responsibility without her knowledge or even speaking to her to see if it was something that she might want. I really hated that. Dimitri is a man that does what he wants when he wants and doesn't really consider how anyone will feel about it. If he went on to grow during the story and address any of this behavior, it would be a different story. It's also hard to appreciate that Dimitri makes Bea aware that he has a situation, but refuses to be honest about the whole thing. And when Bea is confronted with some information and questions him, he gives her a lame excuse that most cheaters give. How can I be doing dirt if I spent so much time with you? Then puts it on her and tells her to tighten up, and that's exactly where it's left. He could have been completely transparent and he could have left Ivy alone immediately, because as I stated in the beginning of this video, he acted like he hated Ivy right from the start. So what was the purpose of dragging it on when he knew how Bea's last relationship went? She may be grown and therefore she needs to accept some of the responsibility, but she is very clearly green when it comes to dating and relationships. So I just can't give her flack for her actions. Let's just end it with this. Maya's being in the story with her hating self felt like it didn't add to the plot and was just there for a little tension, but it was so predictable, being that this little side plot has been in countless stories and starts and ends just like this, just written better, so it left the side plot feeling limp. And it's not the worst story that I've ever read, but it's by far not the best. It was a bit disappointing to see this one because the story just didn't seem to have any wind behind the sails. Alright, so for the rating, this one is a 3. And for the spice, I would put it at about a 3 as well. It was okay, it was like, it was alright. Now we're done. On to the next.